into New York. Yo, into New York. Yo, into New York. To New York, to New York. With the yo, into New York. Yo, into New York. Yo, into New York. To New York, to New York.
And welcome to Crash Chords Autographs. Perhaps underrated within the dark corners of music criticism is the importance of spreading positivity in the medium. Thankfully, this necessity is not only considered, but passionately realized by today's guest, SkyBlew, the 23-year-old rap prodigy who lives by the slogan, "I don't rap, I paint the sky blue." Released on September 28th, his new record SkyBlew's UNModern Life reflects this philosophy in its smooth tones, warm imagery, and pointed lyrics about overcoming setbacks. With Matt, SkyBlew discusses the theme of positivity and how surprisingly rare it is across multiple genres. Having dabbled in nerdcore as well, he conveys his influences, his aspirations, and a deep love for anime. So without further delay, here's Matt Storm and SkyBlew.
Hello, is this SkyBlew?
Yeah, it's me.
Hey man, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good. Thank you for taking the time to do the interview today.
Oh, no problem, man. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. I appreciate Random putting us in touch. I'm a huge fan of his work as well. I'd actually heard your album through his Bandcamp page before he had made the intro. So when he had asked if I wanted to do the interview, I was pretty stoked because I love that record. I think you did a wonderful job with it.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's not often that you really get to hear. I mean, I listen to a lot of different kinds of hip hop. From old school stuff to nerdcore to all sorts of stuff, but you don't hear a lot of overwhelmingly positive spun hip hop music, and I think that's a nice, refreshing kind of perspective. Is there a reason that you kind of write that way? Is it just based on your own personality, your own outlook, or has something inspired you to write that way?
Well, I basically write that because it's just like being me, you know, kind of like based off of everything I've been through in life and stuff, and I kind of just like use that as a tool to motivate me to, you know, type music I make and what I want to portray with my music, like what I want to do, and that's, you know, spread love, you know, and positivity, and still let people know that it's cool to be yourself and have fun, you know. So that's kind of like my music is coming off as the type of person I am in my mentality. So, you know, I'll just be who I am, you know.
That's really cool. I mean, and it's good to be true to yourself when you're writing, you know. If people, you know, there are plenty of rappers, rockers, pop stars who write kind of fake, kind of just put stuff out there, and it's obvious what's real and what's not. So I think that comes across pretty clear in your music that you're writing from the heart and from what's personal to you. My next question is, how did you hook up with Random? How did the two of you meet?
He came and did a, I met him before he came in North Carolina. He had a show with Louis Logic in Raleigh in North Carolina one time, and he had reached out to me. He was just like, "I want you to open for it." I knew him before then because we had a song called "Game Over," and that's doing really that's you know, being a fan favorite. And then he was like, he reached out to the promoter and was like, "Yeah, I want SkyBlew on the show." And then from there, you know, he just been just taking care of me, like, you know, teaching me the ins and outs of the music business and giving me advice and stuff and just bringing me up, you know, something that he said that he wanted coming up and he didn't have a chance to have, so he wants to extend that to me, you know. So it's been a blessing that he's been like a mentor, a big brother to me, you know. And then he's just been keeping up with all my stuff, and he took me on my first tour this year, you know, with him and D&D Slugger, so that's been a blessing, you know. And then he was just like, "Yo, we're going to put this album out," and we went from there, you know.
Awesome. Excellent. And so have you always been interested in hip-hop and rap since you were little? Is that something you always wanted to pursue?
Nah, it wasn't. It's just something I really liked. Like, I liked it for probably since I was a little kid, you know, because I grew up listening to it. And my stepdad would play real good stuff, you know. He put me on not only soul, jazz, and, you know what I'm saying, and like a lot of the good rap, like Tupac, Nas, Common, a Tribe Called Quest, and all that. You know, and I got older and I realized that dang, I grew up on that, so I was able to differentiate the difference between the good stuff on the radio and the stuff I like. So I was just like, nah, you know. And as I listen to it more and more, it's been my escape, you know, as through growing up in foster care and all that stuff. Music's always been a gateway for me. And I just got older and I was like, yo, this is in me. This is what I need to do. So that's what I started pursuing, you know.
Excellent. Very cool. If you had to pick a specific rapper that was your biggest influence on the music you make, would there be one that comes to mind?
Yeah, definitely Lupe Fiasco. Like before I was introduced to him, it was like Common and Q-Tip. But when Lupe came out, he really impacted me, and I was just like, man, this is what I want to do. This guy just being himself, having fun. He's a nerd. He's just like a cool dude, and he's speaking about what's going on in reality. So I was like, yeah, he was a big influence for sure.
And so you mentioned earlier that you went out on your first tour with Random recently. Do you have any plans to go on tour again? Are there specific cities you'd love to hit up if you do go on tour again?
Yeah, me and D Sluggers are gonna hit a quick run real quick in November. Hit up a few spots that we haven't touched in the East Coast. And I want to go to the West Coast as well because they have a lot of fans there. A lot of my fans are actually overseas as well, like Japan and Korea and stuff, and France. So I definitely want to go over there. I want to move to Japan. I want to get away from here.
Wow.
But yeah, me and D Sluggers are gonna hit a few stops in the East Coast in November.
Very cool. And so you say you want to move to Japan. What interests you about moving out to Japan? What's out there that you really want to get out there for?
Well, my big influence. I mean, not big influence, but I'm a big fan of the Japanese culture, man. You know, and not just that, like anime and everything, and like the movies. And just their culture over there just seemed like, you know, nicer people and the atmosphere. I heard my friends went over there. They said the air is much fresher. They ain't got all the chemtrails and stuff in the sky. And it's just something I wanted to do. And I have a lot of fans there. I released a project, this label in Korea. They re-released a project I released called Journeys of the First Person. And they released it over there, and it was done. It's big over there. It's done really well, you know. So it's getting to the point where I need to go ahead and go over there for the tour and stuff. But when I do go, I'm stay.
Cool, awesome. That's definitely not something I've heard very commonly. You know, I've spoken to a lot of different artists, and you know, most of them are either happy where they are, or they're looking to move around a little bit in the States. But you know, going to Japan is a big move. But I mean, it sounds like you're already set on it, and that's great to have that kind of a goal and a focus.
Oh, definitely, man.
So besides doing rap, obviously, because that's obviously, I'm guessing, one of your biggest passions, you mentioned anime before, but do you have any hobbies that you're really into, things that you prefer to do when you're not writing or recording?
I'm a big anime fan, so I'm definitely always watching some anime and playing video games, of course, you know, and just hanging out with friends and stuff. And that's about it. That takes up most of my time right there. I think a lot. I'm a deep thinker, so I'm always thinking. Like I just like look off into space and just think a lot about, you know, the world and stuff, and then like music related stuff. So those are my hobbies right there, man. Just enjoying life, you know.
Yeah, well, that's a good way to be, you know, focusing on that stuff. Is there a video game that you're playing right now? I'm a big gamer myself, but I kind of don't have time to play. I've mostly been playing the new Smash Brothers for the 3DS because I can take that with me. But is there a game that's like really, really got you going right now?
The Evil Inside.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that game is awesome. So I'm gonna be playing that heavy.
Very cool. And what's your console of choice? Do you have a preferred video game console?
I'll take probably Nintendo 64 over anything.
Wow, that's a good one. That one's old school.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I still remember when I first got my first N64 and a copy of GoldenEye. It was like mind was expanded, you know?
Man, GoldenEye is where it's at. We played that when we had exams at school. And then it's like a week, and then after the exam's over during the morning time, you know, either you can go home or you can stay around and stuff. And then like people will like bring the 64s and we have like GoldenEye tournaments, and Smash Bros and stuff. I'm not a Smash Bros fan, but I guess I'll play it.
Yeah, GoldenEye was one of those games where I would play with my friends growing up, and I had a friend who was really good at it, and he would make you chase him and empty your clip trying to hit him, and then as soon as you were out of ammo, he'd kill you and then start going click, 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 click to insult you on top of it.
Man, that's how it was with Toe Rock. We used to play Toe Rock 2 Seas of Evil a lot. And we used to put in that code to get all the guns, and then you can make people turn into monkeys and stuff. It was crazy.
Yeah, I haven't played any N64 games in ages, but I used to, like, that was my first big console that I got, like, as a teenager, that I was like, I need this system, you know? And now it's like, video games have gotten so expansive, it's like, I even have trouble keeping up with so many different ones and so many different consoles and stuff.
Yeah, it has. And more bigger is not always better sometimes.
I agree. Absolutely. That's definitely very wise. The next thing I wanted to ask is, you know, since your roots are mostly in hip hop, and that's what that's what your biggest influence were. Is there anything outside? I imagine there's things outside of hip hop that you listen to as well. Are there any other genres that influenced you as well coming up, or any bands that people who know you for hip hop might be surprised that you like?
Oh, definitely, man. I'm a huge jazz fan. So I love like a lot of jazz, smooth jazz. Grew up on soul as well, you know, so a lot of like Temptations, Marvin Gaye, stuff like that. But I'm a huge ska rock fan, man. Ska rock and alternative rock. So I like some of my favorite bands are like Real Big Fish, Sublime, New Radicals, Scapegoat Wax, Sugar Ray. So I love them. I listen to them almost more than rap.
Wow,
I do.
That actually surprises me. I thought I was the only person on the planet who still listens to Sugar Ray. I've been following them since
Sugar
they
Ray
came out.
is amazing.
Yeah, Mark McGrath is one of those artists that, like, when I started coming up and I wanted, you know, I always had dreams of being involved in the music industry in some degree. Now I'm running my own website and podcast. But at one point when I had dreams of being a singer, like, he was my first real, like, impact inspiration, because he had all these great pop songs, but he also knew how to sing a hook, and he knew how to, you know, even flow a little bit. Like, it was just, he came from so many different backgrounds. It was always fascinating to me, the direction that band took. So the area you're living in now, you said was North Carolina, yeah?
Yeah, Chapel Hill.
Chapel Hill. And so did you said you come from foster care. How long have you been in North Carolina for?
5, 6 years.
5, 6 years?
Yeah.
And do you like it in North Carolina? Does they have a good music and hip hop scene over there?
I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool here. I mean, the scene is we got some talent here. You know, if we all come together and be unified, we can really be a force to be reckoned with. You know, like California and all that. But it's cool. It's real chill, laid back. You know, like I said, I'm gonna move to Japan. That's just my ultimate goal. But as far as now, yeah, it's definitely a chill place.
Cool, that's great. Yeah, I don't know a lot of artists from that area, so I'm always interested to hear. I'm always interested to hear about music scenes in different places, because I was born and grew up in New York, so we've always had a thriving music scene that fluctuates. But you know, I'm always interested in what other music scenes are like, because they're often vastly different from New York.
Oh yeah, I definitely can introduce you to some people here. That's really dope, man.
Cool.
Sure.
Definitely. Another thing I wanted to tell you, more mention besides ask the question. Well, actually, I'll ask the question. So obviously the album, because I haven't mentioned it on the air yet, is SkyBlew's UNModern Life. The cover, the inspiration, is one of my favorite cartoons of all time, which is Rocko's Modern Life, which I'm guessing you are a fan of. What was the inspiration to use that artwork? Is it just the title kind of made it solid for you, or did you always want to do something like that?
I always wanted to do that. Like, as cartoons, you know, I would like lose myself in cartoons, video games, and music. As I pursued music more, I was like, one day I'm gonna definitely do this Rocco's Modern Life theme album, and I'm gonna put myself in the middle. Like, I'm definitely gonna do that. And then, as it came close to it, I was like, yeah, this is the time. That time in my life where I want to tell them stories from Hey Arnold and all that, because they're related to my life, and my life has already been unmodern. So I was like, this is perfect.
There you go. That's pretty solid. If you're a Hey Arnold fan, you should check out a rapper who I'm a fan of named Beefy. Does a song about Hey Arnold on his one of his more recent EPs, where it's all TV and TV and movie themed, and the cover art is like in the Netflix font, and he does a song about Hey Arnold. So you should definitely check that out. I think you'll get a kick out of it.
No, I definitely will, man.
So your album's got a bunch of tracks and a ton of content, which I think is great. You know, I feel like too many people fall into this trap of doing like a 10-track album. It's a half hour, and they're like, oh, that's enough. You know, I don't need to do more. But you really explore a huge range on your record. If you had to pick, and I know this is always a tough question, if you had to pick one song that's your favorite, at least to perform live, let's say, do you have a song that you really love performing live above the others?
On this album or in general?
Or in general. It's fine, too. Sure.
The song called Nothing About It, because it kind of like sums up what I do,
mm-hmm.
and what I represent, you know. And it's Latin for a cloud walker, an unorthodox person, one who's like lives within his own imagination, and it just sums me up, you know. And when I make that song, people's like, yo, this is one of your best songs. And the beat and the way that I come across on it, and it's been fun to perform. So it's probably one of my favorites to perform right now, you know.
Excellent. I want to go back to what you were talking about hitting the East Coast. Just because I'm in the East Coast, I'm curious, do you guys have specific places in the East Coast you definitely plan on hitting, or are you still figuring that out?
Say it again?
So I'm in the East Coast, so I'm curious if you guys have picked actual places that you're going to hit up when you come to the East Coast, or are you just kind of still working out those details?
We're still working out details, but I know for sure he got some places in North Carolina. I think we hitting up Atlanta, Florida, and he gonna let me know all the dates and places soon.
Cool, excellent. Well, after this interview is probably not going to go up till next month because it's a bi-weekly release. So, and there are a couple other interviews ahead to go up. But when it does go up, if I haven't heard yet by then what those dates are, I'll reach out to you because I'd love to post the dates with it so people can see where they can find you once the episode goes up.
Okay, cool.
So we covered video games, which you're a big fan of, and some of your inspiration being cartoons growing up. Are there any other big nerdy things that kind of help form your personality besides? So you mentioned anime. Actually, let's go back to that because I'm a fan of anime myself. Is there a favorite anime that you're really digging right now?
Right now, probably not just over time, but like more of a newer kind of. I guess it would be Attack on Titan and Blue Exorcist.
Yeah, that's that name. Attack on Titan. I watch a lot of older school animes just because that's what I kind of came up watching, like Dragon Ball Z and Cowboy Bebop and Trigun.
Dude, those are the best ones. Those are my favorite of all time for sure. Like Dragon Ball Z, Trigun, Yu Yu Hakusho, Cowboy Bebop.
Yu Yu Hakusho, that's another one, yeah. But so I keep hearing my friends talk about Attack on Titan, and I haven't watched it yet. But I keep hearing that I have to watch it. So one of these days I'm going to sit down and watch it.
It's awesome. You should definitely check that out, man. For sure.
But yeah, I still remember when I was in high school, and I'm dating myself a little bit, but when Adult Swim really first became a thing, and they started showing animes at night, unedited, I was like, what is this? I was like, that was it. It was all over for me. Like, I couldn't get my hands on those DVDs fast enough. I was in Chinatown in New York City, like, every weekend, just buying them a season at a time until I had them all.
Man, me too. I was the same way.
And yeah, I mean, now they're everywhere, but I remember when, like, I would be the gatekeeper, like, I'd show people Cowboy Bebop, and they'd be like, what is this? This is amazing. Because the first anime I'd really seen with no lasers, nobody flying, like, it was all machines and spaceships, and it was like a Western in space. It was great.
Yeah, it was. Like, it's so well done from the music, the cinematics, everything. The dialogue, it's great.
Yeah, it's one of those shows that really transcends, and also even it was the first show I ever watched where the American cast was just as good as the Japanese cast. You know, like Stephen Bloom. That's when I fell in love with him as a voice actor, because him as Spike Spiegel, like I can't imagine anybody else doing that voice.
Nah, no. And it has to be Steve.
So one of my favorite tracks actually on the record is the one that's produced by Random Beats, Makeshift Flow. What I wanted to ask about that song, and more about your writing in general, is do you come up with the lyrics first, or do you guys kind of put together a beat, produce something, and then you kind of come up with the lyrics after that? Like, how does the writing process go?
Well, sometimes I have a song in my head, and I have an idea of what I want it to sound like, and then I tell like producers, like, yo, can we do this and that? But a lot of times now it's just like this. I have an idea in my head, but I won't write it until I hear the beat, because I want to write the melody, and like, I study the melodies and the rhythms. So I'll wait till I get the beat to write to it. But a lot of times I'll jot down ideas in my phone or whatever, or random lyrics, and I just have to reword them and reshape them to the beat. Or like I personally like writing to the beat, because I like, I just like zone out to the beat and the melody, and I write it, and I kind of like format it that way.
And do you struggle to come up with lyrics, or is it kind of easy for you? Do you kind of just zone out and it just comes to you?
Yeah, it definitely comes. That's why, like, people say you release a lot of projects. How do you keep doing it? I'm just like, it just flows, man. When I'm in the zone, and I know what I want to talk about, so I just do it. It just flows.
Very cool. So we were talking about your influences before, and you had mentioned people like Common and Q-Tip. And if you could do a duet or, do a back and forth with any artist, anybody, living or dead, is there like a pinnacle that you would pick? Like, I want to do a back and forth with that artist. Is there like a dream duet for you?
How many people can I pick? Can it be like this, just a duet, just two people, just me and one other person?
Make it an all-star song. Let's pick you and four other rappers doing like a Monstars theme from Space Jam kind of thing. What would those artists be like? What would your dream team be like if you were to put a track together?
It would be me. It would be me, Tupac, Amy Winehouse, Common, and Michael Jackson.
Nice, powerful. That and see, I want to hear that song, because none of those people had kind of really sung together. So that'd be an impressive track.
Yeah, I think that'd be amazing, man. Not even count myself. I'm just like, in general, that would be awesome.
So I'm guessing you're a Michael Jackson fan as well, then.
Oh yeah, I love Michael Jackson. I love him.
What did you think of the new record that they released that was reproduced and put out this year? Did you like it?
You said what now?
They put out a new record recently of some of his older tracks that were spruced up and reproduced by Timbaland and Justin Timberlake. Did you hear that? Did you get to hear that album?
Yeah, I have it. It's very dope, actually.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I'm blown away by. I mean, the original vocals were tight to begin with, but the fact that once they put that beat over it and they restructured those songs, like, those were huge hits now. But imagine what they would have done for Michael's career, because that album was way better than the last album he released while he was alive. That album wasn't as great, but this one, I was blown away by the quality of it.
Man, Timbaland was right. They put him in the right. They put him in the right hands, because Timbaland did his thing on that. Yeah,
and it goes to show that a good lyricist can get far, but if you're in the right hands and you work with the right people, you can blow up and it'll get you where you need to be. And it's just a shame that he's having this resurgence after he passed away, because he was a great artist, and it's a bummer that this album is getting such acclaim and he's not here to enjoy it or take advantage of it.
Yeah, I hate that, man. Michael was a true revolutionary, man.
Yeah, I get into fights with people because I talk about how nobody needs to make pop music anymore, because he wrote the best pop record ever. Thriller is the best pop record you can ever make from start to finish, and no one will ever make anything better than that. You can come close, but that record didn't have a bad moment on it,
No, not at all, man. Like his legacy, man, the songs he made, the things he did, Yeah. There'll never be another, that's for sure, man.
Yep, he's definitely one of a kind. Besides what we were talking about before, do you find yourself leaning towards sports at all? Do you watch basketball, football, anything like that, baseball?
Yeah, I'm a basketball fan, a football fan, but college.
College? Oh, cool.
It's more exciting to me, college football and college basketball. It's way more exciting than NBA and NFL.
That's what I've heard. Like, I haven't really watched the NBA since the last strike they had ages ago. And football, I'm a Giants fan, so after the last couple of seasons, it's like, I don't know if it's doing with watching anymore.
Yeah, I feel you, man. And this college is just more exciting, and the fans, you know, and they're playing for more, you know. So
right.
Well,
more
drive and ambition when they play.
Because they're trying to get
NFL, you already made it.
Yeah, sure, that's true. Yeah, because they're still hungry for it at that step. They're still trying to get to that next level.
Yep.
We're talking before about favorite songs and songs on the new record. On the new record, if you had to pick a song that was like the most representative of you or the most personal to you, is there a song that comes to mind on Modern Life?
My most personal song on there?
Yeah.
My most personal song is definitely Parents' Day.
Yeah. And why would you say that that's the most personal song for those who might not have heard the record yet?
Because I'm always talking about everything else. I'm always talking about life and other people's story. So when they heard me, you know, and the way I came across on the song, it was like, oh, it was another story about a boy. And then next thing you know, at the end, they realized, oh, wow, he's talking about himself. So that's where everybody hit me up. And even Megan was like, yeah, Terry, it was just like, just to hear me, you know, come out of that shell and finally, like, say what's wrong, say what happened in my life, you know. That was like a big deal. So it took a lot for me to do it, for sure.
Is it hard for you to write a song that close to your heart, or do you just do it because you know it's got to get out there?
Yeah, it like I always write, you know, like, you know, songs that's like close to my heart and stuff, but like, that one was different. That one was definitely like real hard to do and write it.
I think I read in the press release for the record that Ran had sent me, but I want to make sure. So you're only 23, correct?
Yeah.
Wow. You're 9 years younger than me. I feel really old. Anyway, so this is huge for someone who, at such a young age, to kind of break out like this. What would you? Is there anything that makes this harder for you at your age? Like you feel like you're not quite ready for, or are you just ready to take everything head on, no matter what the challenge? Does it not matter?
Yeah, it don't matter. I'm ready. I have the right mindset. I know what I'm here to do, so I'm just doing it the right way without selling out.
There you go. I think you got a good head on your shoulders, and I think you're gonna go places. One of my favorite things about the write up for the record, that you have this kind of this motto. You paint the sky blue. Where would you say that kind of motto came from? Is it just because of your positive attitude? Like, is that what you're trying to represent? That you're not just making music, but you're kind of actually painting a picture?
Yeah, it's like that. And I kind of already had that mindset, but as people listen to my songs, they will always be like, yo, you kind of just like take me to another place. Like you paint this picture, and I can visualize it every time I listen. And then I was like, okay, that's cool. That's what I want to do. And then, you know, this world can be it can be a dark place, you know, like, and that's the whole gray skies analogy, you know, symbolizing sadness and grief and despair, but like blue skies are always like hope, peace, and happiness, you know. So I'm like, that's what I want to do. I want to paint the sky blue when people like feeling down or like feel like the world's against them, like listen to my music and then like brighten up their day or their mindset, you know.
Yeah, totally. I totally understand.
The rapper, like SkyBlew.
Yeah. Well, and also you want to differentiate yourself from everybody else. You don't want to be just another rapper. You know, you want to get across that you're here and you're doing something just a little bit different.
Definitely.
So I know this new record just came out within the last year. Are you working on stuff for a new record? Do you have any plans for a follow-up yet?
Oh yeah, I'm definitely I'm already working on my next project. I haven't recorded yet, but I'm getting the concept together and beats together for something in December or January.
Very cool. That's quick. Does the album, this concept, have a title yet, or are you still working on that?
Yeah, I know what I'm going to do with it. I just haven't picked the name yet because it's going to follow a story. So I got to figure out the exact name for it. But, yeah, when I get
Excellent. And I like that idea of following a concept and creating a story. I think records are very powerful when they're telling a narrative. I have another podcast besides this one that I do weekly, where me and two co-hosts review a record every week. If you ever find yourself in New York for an extended period of time, we'd love to have you on that too. We bring guests on, and they'll bring an album that influenced them or just something new that they want to talk about. So, but we always talk about how the narrative is really important on an album, and even if it's not a completely cohesive story, as long as there's some kind of through line. But the more powerful the connection on a record, I think the stronger it becomes. So it's exciting to me to hear that you're putting together a record with a storyline and with a through line. I think that's going to have a huge impact.
Definitely, man. I would love to do that, man. I would appreciate it. I would definitely do that.
Excellent, cool. Yeah, we do it every week, and we actually just released a new episode today. We featured Schaefer the Dark Lord was our guest, and we chatted about his album, which was also narrative driven, called Sick Passenger. Which, if you haven't heard, I recommend you go check out because he did some great stuff with that record.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, I definitely got to hear it. We did a show with him on a tour with Megaran in Brooklyn.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, he's a good dude. Me and him have been friends for a few years now. When my website first started, I did a one-on-one interview with him that I typed up. It was back before I was actually recording interviews, and he's a good dude, and he makes some great music. So yeah, you should definitely check that out.
Yeah, he does.
Is there, you seem to be incredibly adept at this at such a young age. That's not a coincidence. I'm sure you bust your ass to be that good. But if you had to give advice to up-and-coming, musicians, people who are trying to make it, who are just starting out, what would be your best suggestion to them, the thing that they should do that might help them get to that next step?
Just don't try to follow what everybody else is doing. Just find what separates you from the next person, because there's so many rappers, so many rappers and musicians. You got to find your niche and what's your sound, And when you get that, you just mold that and just keep pushing that. Don't look at what the next man is doing. It's like, oh man, maybe I should do this because it's being successful. It may take time, but you just got to push. Just follow that dream. Whatever that dream is, keep pushing towards that.
Wise words. You're wise for 23, my friend. And it's been a pleasure talking to you. I really appreciate you taking the time to do the interview. I'm excited to watch your career blow up because you're definitely going to go places. You've got a unique take on hip hop and music in general that I haven't heard in a long time. So I'm
really appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. And you definitely, when you're in New York, you hit me up. You've got my number now. Hold on to it and stay in touch. We'd love to have you on the other show. And I'll keep you posted since I have the email once the show goes up. Like I said, it'll probably be in about a month. But thank you for taking the time to chat with me. I really appreciate it, man.
Oh, no problem at all. Thank you, man, for reaching out. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure. I'll see you around next time when you're in New York, SkyBlew. Thank you.
Okay, man. Peace out.
Peace.
If you enjoyed these interviews, please subscribe to this and the Crash Chords podcast on iTunes, where you can also rate us and review us. You can also like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter at Crash Chords Web, our Tumblr, and our YouTube channel. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to post in the comment area below each post. And keep the discussion going, because remember, music is life, and life is good.